Talk, episode 6. Jay, what's going on, brother? So, today we'll start it out with some kind of basics. Man, it's hot in here, but bugs fly in if I leave the door open. Start with some basics, or go kind of back to some basics with this. I have had this saddle now for long enough to literally get it good and dialed in. Um, I'm going to discuss the stuff that I have on it and why. I have yet to find an issue with this other than, okay, hang on, there was one that it was very nitpicky, but it's one of them old school things that I kept a hold of as I switched to newer saddles, and I just liked it, so I hated that it got changed. But so this saddle I undo. It's very, very easy to get into, to take off, put back on. Just open the suspenders, undo the buckles. I always put it all back because I want it to stay in good form. So I always clip everything back together when I store it away. And it keeps its form then, because it was really rigid and kind of stiff. But if you notice now, the leg pads have got that natural curl now to my thighs there, where originally they were like wide open and really rigid and stiff. But so simple, it's click together. There's the legs. I like to, when I'm climbing, I go through my belt loop and I'll put the buckle, it's really small on this side, the clip, through my belt loop on my pants and then clip it. And that keeps my pants from, like, if you climb, you'll notice your pants will wiggle themselves down sometimes. It gets really aggravating. It's something that I hate. But yeah, to kind of combat that, a lot of times I won't wear a belt because it like will get mashed against your saddle and stuff. This one, I can wear a belt and it doesn't bother me. This is the Weaver Stratus. It's a fairly new saddle that Weaver came out with. It comes with the single green bridge you see here. I put another bridge on it because I came from using this one, which is the Weaver Cougar. It's leg strap, bungee on the back, but it has this web bridge, and I loved that web bridge. It was so like bomb proof and strong that I grew to have a lot of faith in it, and I wasn't too happy about like switching to the rope bridge, but that is what it is. With these, you adjust them all out with these straps. I was able to. I got my lanyard stuff. My leg strap. I sewed mine to the settings that I wanted, so I have very little like strap hanging, and hid a bunch of strap. Like on this, it's doubled. Like, let me show you. It's doubled a bunch of times and tripled, and then sewn together right here. And then it's got this little bungee that holds it into place there. But really, really, really light saddle. Um, and like I said, it's really rigid too. Like I got poured on, and I'm surprised it's completely dry already. So I didn't feel like it was really wet originally. So DJ Blackman, use the suspenders all the time or just when using a heavier saw? I use the suspenders at all times. Um, that allows you if you notice, sometimes you have to crank your saddle down so hard on your hips that it'll like cut off the circulation to your hips. You can actually relieve a little bit of that, put it up on the shoulders. I wear my suspenders always, no matter what. It keeps everything even for me. I don't have shifting. My saddle doesn't start to spin around. It doesn't cock to one side. Suspenders keep it into place, and I like that. So these suspenders got this little strap here that click. If you notice, these are 3. I like this kind. Well, no, they're 4, aren't they? Yeah, these are 4s. This one here is a 3-strap. Oh shoot. So this one here is a 3-strap. So just a single strap in the back. I really like that design. But all of my suspenders, I've gotten them at like Lowe's or anywhere. I just get cheaper branded ones, and yeah, they work really good. I don't know what kind these are exactly, but those are what they say. Shoot, AWPs. But these new ones that I'm wearing right now, these are crazy comfortable. They're nice and rigid, and I like this front strap. I plan on attaching some bungee here, but because I don't really have anything to clip a knee ascender to, I use a little trick with this, and the way this saddle's set up, it's really nice. It's got this little loop on this side, so what I'll do when I need to use a knee ascender, I'll kick this in, and then have it there, and I'll clip the knee ascender to it. So it gives me just the right stride, because that's where I like my device at, is about this level when I'm climbing. When I'm back into the saddle, I like it here. I don't want it any higher, like in my face, and I don't want it down low. So yeah, I try to keep it like right at like breast height, and that works perfect for me. Instead of clipping into the device, which on like a rope wrench or a zigzag wrench, it'll cut into the gusset. Yeah, I do this, so it works really good. I can just clip the hoss to that, and then when I'm not using it, I'm gonna fold it up out of the way. This little strap that goes across, you wouldn't think makes a big difference, but it does seem shifty until you click this. When you click this, everything locks, and there's no more shifting. So I do like this little strap. Oh, right on, DJ. Yeah, I always wear them, man. They're super comfy. I just try to get a pair that's not crazy like big or heavy or anything. I try to stay light when I get a set. So yeah, if you haven't tried suspenders, and you, especially when you're using a big saw, you're so right about that. It's a really nice saddle, Jay. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite saddle I've ever worn. So what's up, John? I was just curious. Okay, they help with the weight distribution, weight more comfortable. The monkey beaver ones are second to none. Oh, right on. That's cool. The koala with internet access. Among Us. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, let me show you, and I'm gonna do a bit of a review why I do this. So, some of you may remember I was very high on the Poison Moon rope from Gap Arborist Supply. This is it. I've used it for quite some time now, but I do this technique when it comes to a canopy anchor that it may be my fault, but this rope didn't hold up, and it's already to the point where I can't use the Sonai. Look what happened, and I'm going to show you why I think that happened, but yeah, it's toast. So definitely not major. What I do use it for is like I'll base anchor with it, but what happens is, I'll show you real quick. This may not be the fault of the rope. This could be totally my fault. So I'm going to show you guys this real quick, and you can kind of give me your input, what you think. It could be just all me. So, and then I'm going to go get into really like my favorite work positioning stuff, because the next video, and yeah, the next video's got some of it in it, and I kind of want to discuss it here just as a little helper. Sorry for moving the camera. I'm getting some suspenders for my tree motion to check. Do it, brother. Do it. Like I said, I got mine at Lowe's, or at like any like tool place. They're just work suspenders. They were $15. That set was $15. This set was $15. I have not had issues. So Let me show you guys how I set this up. So when I'm going for a canopy anchor, I use this pulley right here. So, I'll show you the way I do it. So, I set it up like this. This is the only pulley that I feel like this would ever really happen with. So, it's probably my problem. We're going to get you good and close here so you can see everything clear. If the camera don't tip, because it's on the rope. Damn it. Alright. Okay, so you can see that. So, the way that tightens down, here it is, up close. The sewn eye is inside of the pulley. And that's right where that mark's at. So I feel like that's what that's from, is when I retrieve it. So the way I set that up is like this, choke down, and then I will take a different end of the rope. I'll take my tail and I'll tie it off here as a retrieve line. So now I'm climbing, and this works so nice. I love this setup. But what happens is when I go to retrieve it, I think if you notice in there, it's rubbing. And I think that may be the reason for that. So yeah, that's my personal favorite when it comes to canopy anchors, and to be able to retrieve it. Use the tail of my rope there, and then I'm able to pull it back down. So that's a real nice setup. And I wanted to show you guys, mainly the reason for doing that was to show you this issue that I got with this Poison Moon rope. I really like the rope. I'm just kind of bummed about the sewn eye. But we'll make it work somehow. Like, I don't know. I'll still use the rope. What'll happen is I will cut the rope and take the sewn eye off or something. But Squirrely John, what's up, brother? So let me show you guys also here. One more thing. This carabiner. I noticed it yesterday. You guys tell me. Is this thing shot or is it designed to go like this? So you see everything is aligned. What diameter of rope? I think it's 11.7. Let's see. 11.7. It's 11.7. It's such a good all-around rope. It worked in all my devices. It was a little jumpy on the Rope Runner Pro, but I loved it with the zigzag wrench, and then just a regular wrench. It worked good in the gree. So, yeah, check this out. So it's not bent. Everything's perfectly aligned. The gate seems fine. Everything's working. See, it's got to go down, and it pops back up. Goes down, pops back up. Go down, turn, then open. So everything goes back. You don't have to help anything. It goes right where it needs to. But watch this. Is it designed to cock off to the side, and I just never noticed it? Now look at this. Look at that gate. It's all the way out here. I don't like that. Like, it's really weird. So, and then when it closes, it goes back in. Now, if you look at it from the back now, it's lined up. But when you open it and push it, it starts to run out to the side here. Like, I can't push it back over. But yeah, I don't know. Are they like that? I mean, that makes sense. It would probably help as to putting them on and taking them off and stuff. So that does make a bit of sense. But I was just curious if it was something I just kind of missed. MTP, are you a climber? Yes, sir. A lot of mine are the same way. Goes crooked when open. Yeah, okay. Then that makes sense. So I'm going to show you guys the trick or tip, I'm going to show you how to make basically a free retrievable friction saver if you need one. And then we're going to talk about a couple tricks when it comes to spar work. So, what up, John? How are you, brother? You guys are awesome. I switched to the inside rated gates mostly. DMM. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go with a device that everybody's real familiar with, just so they can kind of relate to this. So what I'll do, dang, I should have thought about this. It's going to take a second, but I'm going to show you if I'm doing spar work, or I'm in the tree and I end up on a long limb walk. I'm going to show you my favorite technique to use. It works super good, and it's very, very simple to do. But I'm also going to kind of touch base on how I personally love the Gree as a secondary device and think it's probably the best thing out there. That's just my opinion, but it has been amazing. Oh, sorry, did I miss a comment? Damn, it was nice. Okay. What harness do you... This is the Weaver Stratus. I had a Weaver Cougar, and then I had all the other Weavers before that. I kind of stick with the Weaver saddles. They've always done me right, so I kind of stick with them. John? Yeah, isn't that weird? I've thought about that for a while, and I'm like, maybe I should probably just ask. So, a lot of you guys, even this trick works even if you're DRT. So, being able to climb a couple different like devices off one rope is a really good trick to have. So, say you're climbing here, and my walls are so cluttered up, it's probably hard to kind of make sense of some of this. So, let's say you went up and you set yourself a real good tie-in, and you're running off of a pulley, so it works even better. You're using the zigzag, which seems to be the most used device out there. So, clicked in. Now, what I find myself doing a lot of times is, since I'm tied in here and I'm already working this up, let me kind of flip this so it sets right. Okay. So, since I'm already climbing and kind of doing this should have been the other way. What did I just do? I will use my tail a lot of times, and it comes in handy so much. It doesn't matter, it crisscrosses. There we go. Alright. So, I'll end up out on a limb, and let's say this one here. Is that even in the camera? Yeah, it's in the camera. So here is my go-to favorite device. This is the Gree, and I want to show you how quick it sets up. And you can do all this. It's got a trigger on the back, and it's got a loaded cam that engages. And it pinches the rope, and then you let the pressure off. That's kind of how it works. So I want to show you, I set it up like this every single time. This is how it's on my saddle. So, like, I'll be way out on a limb, and I'm like, oh, shoot. Well, I don't want to call down for nothing, and I need to kind of, sturdy myself almost. So, I'll pull the tail of my rope up real quick. Real quick. I'll do a double overhand knot. That way I'm not even doing anything complicated. I'm going to move you guys closer, because you are a long ways away. Oh, my bad. So, there we go. So we're tied in. I grab the tail of my rope and I want to get way over here and I want to be tied into this. And I'm scared that I'm going to take this crazy swing. So I'll use this. It ends up being real quick. I grab my tail real quick. Grab my tail. And I can usually do all this one-handed if I needed to. And I would click in. And I've got it. I'd reach back behind me. Grab the gree-gree. And within seconds, I am tied in twice. Way out on a limb walk. And if I needed to retrieve it, it's easily retrievable. I could just hook it back and run it DRT. But now I'm tied into a V here. This little device is so nice. When you're done with it and you get to where you're in a comfortable spot, it's so quick to come off. To get it back off, pack it away, and undo what you just did. A lot of times when I'm climbing, I will keep the tail of my rope with me because of this, because I end up using it in a lot of different situations. So I'll usually take this and click it back on, and then I go ahead and continue my climb, knowing that at any point, if I need a secondary tie-in, my tail's back there, and I use it. I don't know if that's helpful to anybody. To me personally, that trick helps me in so many situations, it's not even funny. Like, it just helped me the other day. So, now I told you all the good stuff. I want to show you the kind of the specifics of this saddle and the reason that the only reason that I wasn't like 1000% with them. But okay, dang it, I got behind on comments. I'm sorry, guys. Well, Julio, new here. You some pretty well put together. I would love to learn, even if I'm not going to be cutting things and trees. Yeah, climbing is extremely fun and very, like, it's an insane amount of exercise. And it's good outdoor, healthy exercise. The danger that's involved for some people is a selling point, because that little bit of fear is something that people kind of crave, the adrenaline rush. So it's dangerous, but at the same time, it can be the funnest thing in the world. I agree, DJ. A good rec climb can be incredibly fun. Getting some buddies together and taking a climb. I agree, John. I agree. When I'm doing spar work, I use my Unisender. I got the Rope Runner Pro, but I haven't played with it much. I just got it too, DJ, and I love it. Like, I dig that thing so much. I got stuck in the rain on this rope, this Poison Moon rope, and it was a bit bouncy. So I wasn't the hugest fan. I'm going to catch up on comments with you guys before I get into anything else. I wasn't the hugest fan at that point because of the way the way it got bouncy, but I think it was from the water and the rain. So the lumberjack, Grigri and Zigzag, 2 pieces of gear I don't have but want to try. I've been running friction hitches and pulleys since I got into this. The lumberjack, that'll get her done though, man. That's all. I think guys should have that knowledge. That stuff is so important, and knowing that, those little tricks and knots that you learned doing that are going to help you in other ways, especially if you continue to try to learn this stuff. When you switch to zigzag, you're going to love it. Yeah, zigzag is smooth as butter. It is very nice. Like the akimbo, they are fast and simple to adjust and midline attachable. 100% Jay, I'd compare the two. I really like it's just a side plate, opens up, put in, locked out, you're good. Very nice. to two devices that I say would be, I get it. When people say that the akimbo is awesome, the quickness of how you can set that up, awesome. And same thing, the Rope Runner Pro, you do that same trick, it just takes a little bit. I just never seen anything as fast as the Gree, and I can legit do it with one hand if I need to. My pleasure, Lumberjack. All trees, all solution. How do you feel about human coming back to YouTube? Um, so that's something I wanted to talk about. It's a sad sight. I hate that he deals with mental stuff. I really do. My own personal opinion, like, he's been nothing but good to me. I don't know if you've ever tried to sit down somewhere wearing your saddle, but all that stuff on the back is not comfortable. But he's been nothing but good to me. I know he's a really, really good dude. I've experienced it. I've seen how he is. I just think life is hard, man, and some of us can deal with it a little better than others. And having to struggle sometimes is just something that you gotta kind of, suffering and pain isn't a bad thing. You can learn a lot from that. And some people, I feel like, maybe hadn't experienced that, and they do always have the help here and there, and it's hard for some people to manage just everyday life, because you start to look, okay, I don't want to stray off on like I'm some like counselor or anything. So I want to keep this tree related. My opinion, this is hard on the body and the mind, extremely. But for some of us, this kind of work can keep our mind busy, which is the absolute best thing that we could have. Me personally, the danger and all the techniques and the risk involved to being up in a canopy and doing stuff, that keeps my mind busy, and I love that, and I need that. So I think Corey really needs that. I see him being his like best self when he's in those, times when he's into work really good, and keeps his focus on work. It's it's hard to always surround yourself with the same people, but at the same time you want to grow your friends and stuff. Social media kind of gives you this false sense of these people that are your friends, and sometimes when you realize that those people aren't your friends, they just kind of had an interest in you for a little bit and they take off. It's kind of a bummer. Like, learning how to deal with all that stuff. He dealt with a lot of fame real quick on YouTube and seemed to do absolutely great with it. But I think it's easy to be overwhelmed with life, and I just said this in my last video. When a task is too hard and seems overwhelming to the point that you feel hopeless and that you can't make, like, you completely, you have like doubt in yourself and you don't know if you can do it, that's where I was at with that tree. I want to keep this tree related. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't want to give anybody life advice. But when I found myself in that situation where I'm completely overwhelmed at looking at the sum of everything, the whole thing, it gets rough, and it starts to become a mental battle, and you start to get scared, and then other feelings start to take over, and I work my best in those situations when I break things down. One big problem can be broken into however many smaller problems. And then if you can attack them smaller problems, you'll you'll get there eventually. So I think he could focus on, he's got so many things in his life in order. There's a few things that he's having issues with, and his focus shouldn't be on trying to solve why he thinks the way he does. It shouldn't be on looking to find the thing to blame it on. It should just be on, how can I get up tomorrow and feel good and get through that day still feeling good about myself. I think he just needs to kind of focus on what it is that he does that keeps him and makes him feel good and focus there. Stay in that lane. Don't try to stray and solve other silly problems that may be real and may not be real. I also at the same time don't want to throw shade at nobody. I'm not any better than anybody else, so I want to watch what I say. So it's a tough one. Like I would like to really get into it, but yeah, if you can find something that social media is wild. It's nonstop. You see the greatest things that happen to people that most people never post something that where someone bad for them. So you're only seeing the best of everything. You get a false image of that. That's the way everyone's life is. It's far from it. Uh, just because someone's smiling at you when they close the door, they could be a total different person. So that stuff's rough. You don't know who you're going to run into on a daily basis that may be going through something like Corey. Corey's a really good dude, but maybe he's just having a day. So you just have to remember that stuff and try to treat everybody as good as you can because you don't know what they're going through and you don't want to add to it. I don't want to add to nobody's stress. I like to help people. So if I can do that, I'm all in. I'll keep going. But if I have to, and I don't want to beat nobody down. Like I, the internet does enough of that. You don't. I don't need to to put any more out there. So I think Corey's awesome. I think he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and I think the tree industry could do nothing but benefit for him to stay in it. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. I want to catch up on comments though. Yeah, I personally, DJ, I kind of wish he, you know what, I say that, but I think a lot of people wouldn't know that he's going through these. But I almost wish he wouldn't talk about this stuff, and but he's very honest. He's a good dude, like he really is, and I think sometimes he draws the short straw, and I hate that when things start going good for him, he's so it seems to be that like he pulls the lever and just takes a nosedive because he's like things are too good. It's getting ready to go bad. I'm gonna do it before it does it to me. I don't know. Um, I think he's very smart, and I think his smartness like hurts him in some ways. He's always trying to solve even his own issues himself. But yeah, he's a really smart guy. Blake, human. He runs a YouTube channel. It's a tree YouTube channel, and he's just going through some stuff again. Kind of had had a little bit of a setback, but yeah, that's what we were talking about. Overthinking things can cause anxiety, especially in this work. 100%. I still get a bit nervous up in the trees, even though I've been up in them hundreds of times. Gotta focus and ask. Okay, at the task at hand, I think helps. 100% the lumberjack. That's what I'm saying. The tree overall looks impossible sometimes. The tree I was in was so dead and rotten, and it had so many issues. I was like, this is not. I can't do it. I can't do it. Why even do any of it if I'm gonna have to quit part with? I'm just no. I'm not him. I guess I don't know. And I like sat there for a little bit, and I looked out to guys, and I'm like, ah, like yeah, this kind of people dependent. So I turned my music up. I flicked my earbuds down, and I locked into one section of the tree. I took care of that section. I moved to the next. I took care of that section. I moved to the next. And I repeated that until when I looked around, I had one section left. And I figured out how to solve that. So, any favorite cigars? I don't smoke cigars, but like, I feel like you look cool when you do. I don't know if I'm cool enough to smoke a cigar. Every time I smoke a cigar, I try to inhale it like an idiot. I need to quit smoking cigarettes, but yeah. So I want to show you. Let me catch up on these last few. That's probably the same as a climate. 100%, Jay. No, DJ, but I'm going to. He's such a smart guy. Like I've been beyond impressed, and I think his biggest thing. I think he always had this in him. It's just he needed. He's a guy that like this line of work would run off typically because the roughness and the, you don't say, hey, dude, you did awesome. You're so good. You were amazing today. Like you killed it. Some guys that builds them. Like, and I feel like I noticed that I'm very old school in the way that I am, and so I'm a bit blunt and like you'll hear from me when you're messing up, and maybe if you're not, I don't say a word. So me not talking to Grace, and I realize that doesn't work for some people. So I've kind of changed a little bit. I've been really impressed with him, and yeah, definitely that's the next step, DJ. It really is. I just was talking to him about it, so that's pretty cool. You said that. I know, still gets a little nervous once in a while. Yeah, 100%. American spirits. I don't drink either. Like, I have my recovering problems that I deal with, and like I've been clean for over a decade or so. I think maybe it's not quite a decade yet. It's been a long time. So yeah, I used to love to drink and have a beer in the evening and stuff, but now it like stops my head up real bad, and I don't really feel good after. So yeah, I don't drink anymore either. So I got whiskey in here though. I have some really good whiskey that I did a tree for. So this old couple, and they used to they owned a bar that they were closing down. So they went inside, and here I'll show you. They came out as I was leaving. They're like, "Hey, hang on here." I don't. Is it Scotch? Yeah, it's a rare Scotch. It says. I don't know. I think it's a pretty old bottle, but yeah. Eventually, I'll crack into it and have a drink or two. I mean, maybe if somebody comes over and they want to drink, I always have it. But then we just got some whiskey. So, but yeah, not a drinker. Nowadays, if I was going to drink, I'd probably drink a whiskey or a scotch or something. Just so if because I'm drinking, I'm looking for the buzz and I want the buzz quick. So whiskey gets it there faster. Used to smoke those. Oh, the better way. I quit, but damn. Yeah, yeah. And maybe I'm thinking about I need one of them like flavored air things because I think a lot of it is like I'm a nervous person, very frigidy. So like having something to do with my hands, a lot of times if I'm not doing that, I'm like I'll smoke a cigarette, which is silly, but get too comfortable up there. That's probably when the things can be overlooked. The lumberjack, that's really good advice. I've always said, and it's something my dad said to me, are when you when you have no fear, pack up and go home because that's when you get hurt. Now, if a little bit of fear is normal, but if you don't acknowledge the danger, then I think you oftentimes have to deal with it. So acknowledging it and working around it is completely different than disregarding it and forging ahead blindly. So get a piece of your good cigars. You get 10 and a little tin can. Oh, right on. I have to look. Let's see. Send me the whiskey. That's a good bottle. No, right on. Yeah. Love how you and Corey interact with us on the group comments here. Oh, cool. Right on, DJ. Yeah. It's that's a tough one because I see I wish I had Corey's following, but then I wondered, ooh, if I had Corey's following, would I be able to interact as much? Could I? And that's a tough one. He's got a lot of people, so this gets it gets pretty time consuming sometimes. But I really like these live feeds. I don't know if you were part of our last series of them, but I think we went for almost 2 years straight every Saturday. Um, and or was it no, every Tuesday. It was Tree Talk Tuesday. We did like 200 episodes or something. I think. Yeah, I can't even remember. It wasn't 200 episodes, was it? It was over 100. That's what it was. Yeah, we took it to 154 weeks, and yeah, it was like 2 years worth. So, um, yeah, I do one of these every week, and this time is usually spent if somebody leaves a good comment and they have something they want to know about. This time, that's what this time here is for. So I'm always going to do this every week for you guys. I'll kind of talk like tree news from the week, like if I seen a cool video, something I like, and then I've really been digging just like a little bit back when Reg was putting videos out, Reg Coates. Um, a new one I've been seeing is Tree Warriors. I really like some of his stuff. I like Jay's stuff. So J306 here. Jay's been putting out some real cool stuff. So there's a lot of content out there, and I really like how friendly, and kind of how close our group has kind of got. So I think we're getting close to 10,000. But there's only a few of you that I really talk with and conversate with on the regular. And some people get on YouTube and that's what they want. Some people just want to watch. So I appreciate you guys that are always here and want to do this. So, and I appreciate those ones that watch too, because I need those, because the few bucks that they give me is definitely not worth it. But I broke my camera multiple times the other day. Ended up cutting a big dead section. I made a back cut, and as I started to cut this section, it barber chaired up. I was up in a rotten ash tree, way out on a limb walk, scared to death trying this. But I made the back cut. All I did was a straight back cut. Then as I cut into this side, what happened is it stood up. It started to barber chair upward to about 2.5, 3 foot. The butt stood up in the air. I had positioned myself that way. I was like chest level with it when I was making the cut. That way it gets down past my head, my torso. I always try to do that. Um, Now I get why if you're doing cranes, you're lower because you want to get down below it, but I want to stay above. So as I make that cut, it stood up and it was above my head, the butt end of it, and then it went crashing. It ripped like it did a barber chair, and it ripped like a like point out of it, and it slid down this side, and I was tied in right here. So as I as I come as it come down, I got lucky and was able to kind of push it away from me and keep it off me. But that stuff is never fun. Drives me nuts. My pleasure, Jay. Yeah, that's what I have to do a lot of times. That would be a tough one because that's what I do a lot of times to chill myself out. Like, hey, hang on, let me light a cigarette. I usually don't. I regret anytime I smoke a cigarette before I head up because I'm like, why did I do that? I should have waited till I got up here and did it. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to get away from and stop smoking because I mean it took my mom basically, and I'm stupid enough to continue. So I don't know. I want to talk about the saddle a little more, and then we'll finish up with some comments. And I have part two's pretty cool of this really dead tree that where we're right on the electric wires. Funny part is Jake almost smacked the high voltage wires with that one. Then I'd almost do the exact same thing, and I rig one. So it just and at one point, let's just say we may rip a gutter off. Things get a little gnarly, and when you start slamming big Ted chunks around trying to rig them, they often break. So I like these live vids. I'll try to support. Oh, right on, man. I appreciate it. Do you? I imagine you make videos, the lumberjack. A lot of times I just haven't stumbled across some of you guys' channels, but as soon as I'll like stumble across a different one, like Jay's, his popped up on mine with YouTube Shorts, and I was like, oh, I think that's Jay from the comment section, and I watched a couple. I'm like, yeah, this seems like Jay, so I subscribed instantly. Jay, just smoke weed. That sounds like a good idea. I'll try that, Mr. Evans. So if I'm even later than I have been, like I'm usually only 10, 15 minutes late. When I'm 30 minutes late, you guys know what, like I fell asleep or I'm in there eating or you have a few. Just started a business in the Northeast. Cool. That's really cool. Well, I have to check them out. I'll definitely have to check your stuff out. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a cambium saver or a friction saver for free. You probably already have these tools, and it's just an easy little trick to have. Also, so with this saddle, the one point that didn't sell me. So here's oh, okay, you guys are not there anymore. My bad. So you know what? It seems like it's much easier to view things clearer if I go here against the door. Yeah, much better. Okay, so I still have the tail of the rope stuck to me. So here's how I set mine up. Now I always I'm right-handed, so on my right side is my saw lanyard. Chainsaw over there, I hang it up. Now because my saw's on this side, my lanyard's always on this side. Always, no matter what. I use I think it's Rock Exotica. I use the Buck friction mechanical thing. So little brake. The way this one works is really nice. Instead of it being like turned that way, it's turned this way, which is much easier to like hit with your thumb and use. But here, I feel like you can't even see it. I'll explain what I mean when you can see it. So the way this thing is, you see how it's turned that way? Most of them are turned this way, the other way. The hole goes through this way. So this is really nice because when it's hooked, it's much easier to put your thumb here and push down on it than it was with the round one. Like it's really easy to get a hold of. You can get it there on the end, or you can get it there. With the other one, you had to almost get it down here, or you wasn't going to get it to work. But it only goes the one direction. I love these clips for the top ones. We just got the back. And then I hang my stuff on the back here. Trying to think of where would be the easiest. I feel like the light's still not picking up worth a damn. There we go. Okay. So, lanyard over here. And I put the tail back here. I have these little accessory things here that a lot of times I'll clip on to that. I actually hook my saw onto, I try to put it to a kind of a weak point in case it was to get pinched and get ripped off me. I've had that happen before. So my saw lanyard is one of the recoils. I'm not saying to buy him one of these because they didn't make right by me, but that is what it is. I had to resew mine together immediately when I got it. It fell apart. So the thing it didn't sell me, I use one of these deltas on the end. I like these because it's where another point to hang the saw up. Instead of the little hook on the saw, you can actually hang up on this thing. So the thing I didn't like, it didn't come with the little clips. And let me show you what I mean by the little clips. Put you back over here. So this saddle here, every saddle I've ever owned, they all have this right here. This is what I am used to. This is what I like. That's a spot to hook your additional climbing rope or your rigging line. I like that. And a spot to hang your saw. The way they work, it's these little clips. So, holds the saw really good. Here's my issue, is it was hard to get the saw back off when you got these. So they kind of did away with them. But I like them because you can modify this to make it work really nice, like I did on this side. So what I did is I broke the gate and I put a little twist and a grind on this thing so that it held a little better. You can see the grooves that I kind of made into it. I put a little bend in it, and now with a saw lanyard, I can easily reach over there and hang that saw up on that hook, and I didn't have to pay anything. That came on the saddle, and I was just able to modify it. I had the other one on the other side for emergencies if I needed to hook one, but the one on my right side, which is my saw side, I needed that little hook. I can hang up really fast, I can pick it up, and I'm so used to that. I got this one, no spot to put a chainsaw, which didn't really make sense to me. So what I did is I went and I bought these. I bought these hooks. And I bought a couple of these strap things, little accessory things. Oh, you know what? No, I didn't buy these. Does that come off? Did I sew that one? I may have sewed it, so I hate to. Yeah, I'm not going to take it off. I could though. So that's set up on there with a little button, and it wraps around. It's got a little accessory beaner, and then it holds this on. This thing's on a swivel, which is really nice. But I got them with my suspenders. They came with the suspenders so that you could hook them onto whatever it was that you were going to use the suspenders on. You use those little accessory beaners. But the climbing saddle already had it, so I didn't need them. So I used them for that. So this one is like I hook my drink to silly stuff like my phone and all that stuff, my little like little container of stuff. So then on this side, I needed to do that same thing, but I needed a spot to hook my saw up and hang it up really easy. So I did that same idea. This time I found one of these hooks, but I didn't want. Now think about this. I thought like, originally I was going to use one of these, but then think about that swivel. that hook may be in the right position or it may not be because it swivels at all times. So this wasn't going to work. I liked this. I liked the design of it. I could break the gate, take it off, and it's almost impossible you're going to lose your saw out of that. So I found one. I think, yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different. So I found this one right here. It's a fixed one that's just on a round ring. Same thing, except for I did a little notch here to where there's like a little hook that catches the saw so that it can't just bump out really easy. So I kind of grinded those edges off. And it's a big wide open gate here to get the saw into, get it back out. And that little accessory thing after I put it on there and then sewed it together, it just gives me that perfect spot to always hang my saw up, pull it off. So that was the one thing I could say about the saddle that I wasn't really stoked about, is that it didn't have a saw spot. But I mean, they make the Cara tools that you just clip down into your saw, and if you notice, let me actually take this off because I want to show you the whole saddle. This thing has an insane amount of accessory beaners on it, or accessory spots, so it could be modified to like no end. It's unreal, actually. So let me show you how I typically would store my saddle. I would clip it back together. I'm going to clip the legs back together. And I store it just like I'm going to wear it, because I want this stuff to form to where I've got it set to. Listen to this. It's a composite. It's not like I don't even know. It's like a plastic composite in here, sewn with a bunch of other stuff. It's got all this cushion on the inside. Really tall back, but it's the lightest saddle I've ever felt in my life. I like to keep this little back carabiner with my gree and maybe like a micro pull in stuff. That's always there. And then this thing. So this is the other thing I would say you should get, is I think it's the Petzl one. It used to have a little plastic yellow thing on it. But the reason I have this is because I take up 4 Speedline straps with me, always. Well, 3 because I just left one in the tree and I probably won't go back and get it. But you go to put them on, they hook up in there. You can, anytime I need to hang something up quick and easy, I'll just put it in this. So having one of these, you could have one on both sides, it would be nice. But yeah, but you also see all the insane amount of accessory holes. Now, that's not the only spot those accessory things are at. They're down here on the legs also. So you can do accessories down on this. But yeah. That's it. That's my favorite go-to saddle. My favorite saddle I've ever rode. It's double bridged, which I don't know if you could see that earlier. And I put a ring on it because the ring orientates every device into the right position instead of it being cockeyed. So I talked about that in a video once. I hate to get back into it too much, but yeah, that's that of that. And now I'm gonna comment for a little bit, and we'll probably call this one a night, guys. I'm pretty beat. I finally think I may have got my motorcycle running right. I'm kind of stoked about that because it about blew up on me when I was coming back from watching my daughter's college graduation. Throttle was wide open and I couldn't get it to stop. Okay, I'm gonna pick it up here from Lumberjacks. They've been shadow banned me for a while now. My channel doesn't pop up when I type in the season, but it's the Lumberjack. One thing to remember, if you originally called your channel one name and you changed it at any point, that channel will, for the most part, always be found by that original name and not what you changed it to. So I changed my channel to Tree Life. I think for a year we did it. Um, that was kind of my homage to the guy who got me into making these videos, Jaden Anderson. And I was thinking about keeping it that way and just changing the name altogether, but I didn't. I switched back, but people couldn't find my channel if they put in Tree Life. So, but if you put in Steelborn, it popped up. And also, comments don't count uh, to help people unless it's 4 words or more. I found that out. I was right. I said that a few months back, but I wasn't for sure. But I try to keep up with the stuff because I'm like, man, I put out so much content. YouTube doesn't suggest mine to people either. I mean, it just is what it is. I think if you want to build your channel, you should do a lot of shorts. Put a library of videos together, have them there for people to watch and subscribe, and periodically build another bigger video here and there, but shorts and lots of them, and you'll build your audience. Well, it is it's definitely, what is elusive tree surgeon. I really like that name. My pleasure, brother, or sister, or whoever. I appreciate you. Yeah, I like doing this. So, like I was telling you guys, I've told you a billion times. I'll say it again. I'm here because I feel like I was gonna just kind of kill over with all my knowledge. I just didn't really have anybody to ever. It's nice to have Jake around now because I think he could be that guy that I kind of pass everything on to. But I got a daughter, and I shouldn't have anybody to pass it on to. My dad showed me, and I feel like I was just gonna waste it. So I was like, I'll start making YouTube videos. Maybe it'll work. And I like being creative. It gives me an outlet. But yeah, it's definitely it's soul crushing when you put a lot of time into a video and it just craps. So, but I've learned to deal with it. I did change the name though. Then that's it, man. If you look up that old name, whatever it was originally, it'll find you immediately. I don't know why that is. It's your URL. So they don't tell you that though. They tell you you could change your name up to once every so many months, but they say nothing about you're totally crapping on your channel if you do this. Maybe for some channels, a name change is the thing that blows them up. For me, it hurt my channel. Like those people that were randomly watching my videos, well, because they look it up. You like as I would tell people what my channel was, they would go look it up. They never found it. So I would look my own channel up, never found it, and like I had to go into Steelborn. There it is. It's even though my name is Tree Life, and it would show Tree Life video, Tree Life video, Tree like, but it's under the search of Steelborn. I don't get it, man. Appreciate you still. Cool. I gotta go. Oh, right on, brother. Hey, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. You have a good night too, guys. I think I'm gonna cut out. We killed an hour, like always. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, the comment section is there. If you got something you want to know about, a topic, let me know. Like, even if it's like a random topic, like an area in climbing and tree work, maybe you're not as comfortable with. I just feel like I've talked about everything. So now I just have to, I guess, just start going back over things because there's new people that have shown up and they haven't seen some of the stuff. So don't get mad at me if I repeat some stuff. I'm getting old and senile. So I'll catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good week and stay safe.